Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Chris Cooper, known as the Channel Guy Trader, and I am reporting to you live from Wall Street Trading Satellite Office down in sunny South Florida. Today's date is Saturday, August the 25th, 2012, and here is this week's weekend review. All right, guys, before we get into the charts here, I want to take a look to see how the major U.S. market averages close on a percentage basis. Again, this will be an extended video as we are going to go look all over all the indices and the charts and anything else out there that we should be paying close attention to going into next week's trading. So let's go and take a look to see how the indices close here. You can see we had a down week across the board. The Nasdaq closed down 0.21%. The NYSE closed down 0.57%. The Russell 2000 closed down close to a percent here, down 0.90%. Dow Jones down 0.86. S&P 500 down close to 0.5% here, 0.49, and the AMEX down 0.24. Across the board, like I said, across the board, all the indices are weak. Okay, this week and we're weak this week, huh? And the Russell 2000 was the weakest index, guys. So we're continuing to see weakness in the Russell when every time we get some downside action in the market, which is not nothing that we shouldn't expect because it has been showing weakness for the past couple weeks, even the past couple months compared to the other indices. And if the market was to roll back over, that's going to be the first index that they'll take a look at to hit. So anyway, I mean, down week across the board. Let's go ahead and jump into the charts here because even though we had a down week across the board, the market still had a nice little bullish underlying tone to it. I want to start off first by taking a look at the SPY. All right, I know a lot of you traders out there watch the SPY. Some traders watch the futures. So what I've been doing recently was combining both of them in my midday updates and going forward the weekend reviews. I mean, I used to watch the SPY a lot. I started leaning more towards the futures. Got to get a more accurate reading. But just for you home gamers out there that trade the SPY and use the SPY to track the market, we'll start going over that as well in the videos, and you'll get the same type of analysis that's pretty much on point over here at Wall Street Trading. So come check us out, guys. So anyways, SPY daily chart, we still remain in this nice little upward channel. You can see earlier this week we got rejected on Tuesday at the top up here of the channel around the 143 area, and ever since we made those new highs earlier this week, we pulled right back in. Of course, those highs are the new year highs, new 52-week highs. Okay, and that is around 143.09. The bottom of the range that we're going to be watching is this 140 level. If we could remain above 140 and get some nice high base consolidation up here, we should be in good shape. We still remain above the 20 simple and exponential moving average on the daily time frame. All right, now if I bring the weekly chart over here, all right, you can see that we are back above this key level from that was an inflection point last year on this 137.08 area. And really, I mean, if we go below 140, but as long as we hold above 137, we are still in good shape. Next resistance to watch is 144.5. Taking a look at the monthly chart right here on the right-hand side, and the left one is the weekly. You guys can see here we have some decent action, and if we continue, we have some decent space to move higher. And if we continue trending higher, the next level we have to watch after that 144.5, it's going to be up here towards the 2008 highs around 147. All right, so the SPY's looking in good shape. Let's take a look at the ES. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the ES. Any S&P 500 futures traders out there, guys? We track the futures in the chat room intraday. So if you guys don't trade equities, but you guys trade the S&P 500 futures, you guys are more than welcome to sign up for the free trial to the chat room. And you can go to wallstreettrading.com and fill out the form on the right-hand side. If you want exclusive access to it, just go ahead and access it during one of our mornings just to check it out. You can go to My Wall Street TV, type in the password SMART, and you will have access to the room so you can check it out and see what we do over there. So in any case, let's take a look at the ES. ES still remains above this key trend line that I've been highlighting in my previous videos, right, which is a key trend line from the head and shoulders pattern that we had here back here in the in the first quarter that broke down back over here in May. And you can see, like I told you guys previously, like I told you guys before, if we continue to remain above this key trend line, all right, which now is support, we should be in good shape to make a nice move higher. All right, the longer we hold above 1400 and consolidate between 1400 and 1420, All right, will give us another chance to push up and take out these 1424.75 highs. All right, if we break back below 1400, now this is something to pay close attention to. If we break back below 1400 and we break back below this key trend line that that we're watching here, that means everybody that bought above this key trend line, they will be caught in a bull trap, and we already have a highlighted reversal pattern that could be a significant candlestick to work off of. Right now, it's not. We really haven't broke down yet, but then if we do break down, then this is going to be the significant candle that everyone is working off of. All right, so 1400, 1420. Let me go ahead and one thing to remember as well is that it is a nice little upward channel right there. You can see what happened to the previous upward channel that we had formed going into the beginning of the year that broke down. All right, over here in April, we want to see if this is going to repeat itself where we break down, consolidate, and then, get that little whoosh move like we had right here. Break down sideways, try to push up, try to do some BS push up, and then break down right there. But just something to keep on watch. All right, obviously this neckline, this key trend line from the neckline, and this nice little upward channel, 1400, 1420. All right, sorry if I keep on repeating myself. Let's take a look at the monthly chart. Monthly chart looks in good shape. You can see it's cruising along the 8 EMA and 8 SMAs on the monthly time frame. So the trend is pretty intact there on that, as we are in that little nice upward channel. And you can see it even on the weekly time frame as well. Nice little upward channel here. And as long as we hold above 1410, which is this little candlestick from the body right here, which is up from this body of the candlestick from back here in April. We're pretty much in good shape to just consolidate and try to push higher as the market. We have some stocks selling off. We have some stocks holding strong. So it's really just to, make sure you're in the right stock type of market. All right, what do we want to take a look at here next? I want to take a look at the, first of all, I want to take a look at the Nasdaq futures. I'm going to take a look at the Qs, but I want to take a look at the Nasdaq futures. Nasdaq futures, if you guys recall, in my previous video, I had my channel analysis on it here, and I was highlighting the fact how we were really, if you don't have any lines on this channel, if you were to bring up this Nasdaq futures chart and not have any trend lines on it, or not have the type of channel analysis that I have on it, some of my proprietary channel analysis, you wouldn't be able to see you wouldn't be able to see this slightly steep. It's not even steep, but it's really just a nice little channel right there. And you see then it broke above, was consolidating, held that 50, then it really just took off. And like I told you guys in the previous video, well, not my previous video, but one of my prior videos, I was saying, look, if we hold above this key trend line and we break the top of this type of range that we have here, channel range, we're going to see the Nasdaq futures push up, and that's exactly what happened. And now we're just consolidating. If we consolidate somewhere in this above this 2760 and 2800 on the Nasdaq futures, look for this thing to push up here. But anyway, I know you guys usually watch the Qs, so we'll take a look at the Qs, triple Qs. All right, excuse me if I'm going a little bit fast in this video here, as I know I got a lot of stuff to go over, and I'm not trying to make this video a movie. So, so anyways, Qs are looking good. Qs are the strongest index on the board. All right, and the reason why I say that, let's go ahead and take a look at this monthly chart. You can see here the Qs from the tech bubble that we had back in 2000, 2001. We retraced about 50% of that, and that level is 70.52 on the Qs. All right, so we have a little bit more upside to go. But what I like about the Qs, right, even though it could be at a potential double top, but it's not considered double top until we sell and we start seeing some selling pressure off of those highs. What I like about the Qs, they consolidated all last year, this year, and then they broke out earlier in the year, pulled back, held the 60 level, and went up ever since. This is your textbook breakout, pull back, hold, put the higher low in off these levels over here, and then continues higher. So the Qs are looking strong, and that's why we're seeing these technology stocks outperform, such as Apple, Google, Amazon, eBay. I'm still looking for IBM to catch up, and I think this week IBM's going to play catch up. Well, next week, and we'll take a look at that IBM chart here shortly. So anyway, the Qs are looking good. Levels to watch on that, obviously, is the highs around 68.90. Call it 68, and then as long as we can consolidate and hold above the 67 level, or even 67.37 area, even if we come down to 66.50, just this whole green band, this green zone that I have right here, if we can hold above this area right here, we can consolidate a little bit and then try to make a nice little push higher. All right, taking a look at the Russell 2000 using the IWM, which is a Russell 2000 ETF here. You see that we had this nice little downward channel breakout that we were tracking, broke out. We're looking for that pullback. We got a little bit of a pullback. you know what, you can say a 4-day pullback here. Some buyers came in on Friday. It gapped down, slowed off a little bit. Buyers came back in. You know, usually when we get these little downward channel breakout, we usually get a nice little pullback. You know, either it stops right here at this level, or we can get a deeper pullback, or we can get a real deeper pull. You know, or we can get a real pullback where it comes all the way down to back test the trend line and then moves higher, which would be a little bit more of a shakeout. You know, but we're really in good shape until we break back inside of this channel, which is all the way down there around 77. So what I want to see is the IWM consolidate, hold the 79 level, and you know, see what type of base it can build. If I put the moving averages on the chart, it's still in great shape here, holding above all the major moving averages right here. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at the U.S. dollar. All right, we want to track the U.S. dollar. The U.S. dollar did break out of that ascending channel that I was talking about before as well. This one, nice little downward move in the channel to the bottom range, consolidation in the lower part of the channel. We get that little breakdown. All right, now off this move, we are seeing some commodity stocks rise. The market really isn't rising with this little weakness in the dollar as of late. I mean, it's just chopping around. We still have the underlying bullish tone in the markets, but this week was pretty interesting as we had the dollar going down with the market getting some selling pressure as well. I mean, some commodity stocks did bounce, I believe, like on Monday when the dollar was weak, but when the dollar really started getting some selling there, you had the gold stocks hold up, gold broke out, and then some of the commodity stocks are starting to pull in, such as the steel stocks, some of the energy stocks, some of the agriculture stocks. So that's pretty interesting, and we'll take a look at some of those here shortly as well. But so the dollar looks to go lower here towards the 80 level, which is a 200-day simple and exponential moving average on the daily time frame. I do believe that we are at some support right here at 81.50, so we could get a rally a little bit and then see if we put a little lower high in to work off the 82.75 levels up here. Maybe we rally up a little bit, put a lower high in, and then pull back down. I mean, who knows? Or this could try to hold the 81.50 area, and then now we have an established range between 81.50 and 81.50 and 84 up here on the daily time frame. So we'll see what happens. We need more time for that to develop. A key trend line that we can mark on this chart right here will be taking this high and connecting it right here. All right, and then just duplicate your trend line. You have a little steep little downward channel right there on the dollar. If this thing breaks out to the top, so we break back inside this channel, well, you're definitely going to see this as a shakeout, and then the dollar's going to be moving much higher. But you know, we'll see how that plays out. There's a lot of news out there regarding QE. If QE's done, obviously the dollar's going to sell off, gold should rally, and the whole bag of tricks will start to come in loose, I guess you could say. So we'll see. A lot of news out there in the market. Everybody's talking about QE3, and I just trade the charts. Obviously, I take into account some fundamental news, but I try to keep the traders focused on the charts, the price action, and the patterns. All right, so dollar looks like it. Dollar's at some support right here, but either way, it's still looking weak as we broke down out of this 3-month little channel we had going on right here. All right, so let's go and take a look at the gold GLD. All right, gold had a nice little breakout right here on the daily time frame. You see, we broke the little downward trend line. We traded in a range for about 3 weeks or so after we broke, and then after we broke the downward trend line, then we broke out here. Gold looks real good, guys. I mean, I wouldn't be buying it up here, obviously, unless we form a high base, and they made you chase it and buy up here off a high base. However, if we pull back down towards 158 half or somewhere in this area, that would be a good buy, as I think gold's going much higher. And why do I say that? Well, take a look at the monthly time frame. Monthly time frame holding up pretty strong here. You can see we broke out last year above this 152 level, rallied up, pulled back, consolidated above it this year, and as long as we hold that 152 bid down there, we're in good shape. Taking a look at the weekly time frame, just to put things into more perspective here. Take a look at the weekly, guys. You know what pattern we have here. For those of you guys that come in the chat room, you know exactly what pattern this is and how you should trade it. All right, so take off the study so you guys can see the chart a little bit better here. And you see here we have a nice little downward channel that's in play. But not only do we have a downward channel that's in play, notice how right here we have our 50% trend line. We consolidated above 152. We never came down towards the bottom of the channel. All right, that shows you that there's an underlying bid right here, 152. Consolidated in a nice tight range on the weekly time frame, and now you can see this is just breaking out, guys. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. This is about 15 weeks of consolidation. All right, it's about 15 weeks of consolidation, and once we break the top of this trend line, we can expect gold to have a nice, I would say, nice monster breakout as everybody's watching gold, and people do want to buy gold. And if they have to chase it, well, you know what? I think they will chase it. So, anyways, watch this trend line on the GLD. That price level next week will be around the 163 area. Find out the exact level here. That trend line, that price level is going to be around the 163. So I would say above 164, this thing could get another fast move to the top side here. All right. Now let's take a look at the GDX, the gold miners. Gold miners are looking pretty interesting as well. All right, as the gold miners. Actually, let me take a look at the gold futures real quick. Sorry about that. Gold futures. I want to show you guys the pattern a little bit cleaner here. The pattern is a little bit cleaner here. You can take a look at the. You can take a look at this little triangle, broke out. All right, we have 1, 2, 3, about 4 up days in the gold futures contract here. Like I said, I'll be waiting for a pullback, maybe a pullback down towards the 1650 area. You guys know these little. Whenever you break out of a consolidation, you usually have that nice little, that nice little burst of action right there. Then we look for that pullback, and if that pullback holds, then that's your area to buy if you miss this initial move. Obviously, if you didn't miss the initial move, your stop is all the way down here, as your entry is somewhere around this area. So one thing to keep an eye on, wait for a pullback and go to get involved, unless they make you chase it. And if they make you chase it, then try to find a little high base, consolidation base or something to work off of to manage your risk accordingly. Okay, so let's take a look at the GDX now. I'm going into 17 minutes in the video here. I'm going to try to cap it at 20, so it's not too long. All right, either way, we got some good information here for next week's trading. Let's take a look at the GDX. GDX is a nice little downward channel. You can see the downward channel is coming from all the way from September. All right, and once we break this key trend line right here, all right, you can expect these gold miners to take a nice to have a nice rip to the top side here. And a little clue that we were looking for is to break out, these miners to break out along with that gold. You can see how it's respecting the the channel analysis right here. Okay, that's our little range, little high base range right there, and then we have that nice little breakout. All right, and then now we break above this 48 level, which could happen next week if the gold stocks get moving here. This GDX could be on fire. Take a look at crude oil. All right, and one more thing here. A clue that the gold was going to break out this week was that silver actually broke out first before gold. Silver actually broke out pretty good on Monday, and that thing just took off there. And we highlighted that in Monday night's video, and therefore you had a tradable action. You had a trade that you could have put on, for the rest of the week there. We were watching the gold, but again, this was something that we highlighted, the fact that silver usually doesn't lead the way. Usually gold does. So that's pretty interesting. I guess people want to buy silver. They don't have enough money to buy the gold, but they feel that all precious metals are going to rally. Either way, I would buy gold instead of silver. Let's see here. Crude oil, USO. All right, USO was above this 36 level earlier in the week. Still remains a key level. Let me take off all the drawings here and put the studies on so you can see a cleaner chart here. All right, crude oil, nice little rally. Look, we had a low here back in July of 29, and now we hit a high earlier this week of 36.5 or so. So crude oil could pull back. Still looks pretty healthy. I mean, I usually look at the crude oil futures, the contracts, the CL, to get a better gauge, and that's at 96.12 a barrel. And as long as we remain above this key trend line right here, we should be in good shape. Nice little steep upward channel right there. All right, so as long as we remain above that key trend line, this nice little upward channel, make that bigger there. All right, we should be in good shape there. So crude's looking pretty decent. I want to take a look at the VIX. Highlight the fact that the VIX is in this nice little downward channel, broke out of a falling bullish wedge there. All right, and broke out the falling bullish wedge, gapped up, faded all the way back down. Now it's finally trying to get a bounce around this 14 level here. The VIX, as long as it starts holding above, say this 15, which you can see was a range that we had last week and for half of this week. All right, if we go hold above this 15 level, we can start getting some volatility. We can start getting some volatility in this market and get a push up back over 17 or so. But either way, I mean, every time the VIX pops up, they sell it. So we just got to track the VIX, and when we see something change, that's when you know something's up. Okay, so let's talk about some stocks here now. Some main stocks that I'll be watching. Take a look at Apple. All right, AAPL. Nice move there, setting up for a nice move. All right, this thing takes out six. This thing starts. If this starts trading above 671, it can get a nice move up. Google, another strong stock out there. Goog. This one has a nice breakout over 680. Let's call it 680, 681 to be on the safe side. Once it breaks out 680, things are just going to take off. So I say 681. Put an alert at 681 or so. All right, Amazon, the stock that we talked about, that's close to hitting all-time highs. All right, actually hit. Let's see here. The high that we made was 246.87. We actually made all-time highs. On Friday. So keep an eye on Amazon, strong stock. We've been talking about this stock, mentioning the fact that as long as it can hold above this 280, 238 level of this nice little range, this thing's going to start moving higher, and that is happening as we speak. So anyway, guys, I'll probably put out another video over the weekend showing some setups that we're watching. Or better yet, come check us out Sunday night at mywallstreettv.com. Password to get in the room is SMART. All right, and I'll go over all the charts that we'll be watching next week during our live chart session that we have Sunday night at 9:30. So look forward to seeing you guys there. Again, to see how we set up and trade the markets in the morning, join us at 8:30 in our chat room. To get access to our chat room, make sure you visit our website, wallstreettrading.com. Fill out the form on the right-hand side of the home page to sign up for your free trial of our My Wall Street TV. All right, you can listen to us trade the markets in real time while we help you coach you guys through your trades and generate obviously some nice ideas that we have in the chat room. We hit it pretty hard in the morning, like in the first hour, and then usually in the afternoon it's cruising time, or if we decide to trade, we'll find some other trades to put on. But usually the morning time is where we make most of our our bread and butter there. So anyway, I'll catch you guys Sunday night at 9:30 p.m. Have a great weekend, guys. Later.